Hello and welcome back to the Sandboy Saga. Let's get started. So last week I mentioned how the videos that I've been making have finally caught up to the exact same point that I am in development. So I thought in today's video we'll have a little look at what's going to happen in the future. One thing I want to show you is where the Toadsplat language has come from, where it is now, and where it's going to go to in the future, hopefully. So I'm just taking this example of some scatter sand, some sand that falls down and then just scatters around. In my original version of the language, this is what it looked like. We've got three rules here, one rule that makes it fall down, one that makes it slide to the side, and one that makes it scatter around. And every single character you see here was represented by either an input or an output function. It was quite simple. The input functions just ran. If all of the inputs were true, then all of the outputs ran. That was pretty much it. But it got to a point where I was repeating myself a lot and the readability was getting pretty bad. So I took more inspiration from the Splat language and I introduced a few keywords. So instead of writing input or output, you write given, or change, or select, or keep. They're the four that I've implemented so far. And it seems to make things a bit more readable. But let me know what you think, of course. So that's where we are now, really. That's our scatter sand and what the code looks like. There are a few things that I want to consider making moving forwards. One thing that I've started already is, well, normally when you type in XZ here, it picks one random sort of reflection in those axes. But if you want it to try all of them, you can use the for keyword like this, for XZ. So what this does, it goes through every single possible reflection in the X and Z axes, and it tries them all before moving on to the next rule. So this is kind of working. It's a little bit wrong at the moment, but I'm still working on finishing it up. And in the long term, I want this for thing to be a bit more like a control structure. So you should be able to put, say, two rules in the middle, and it would run those rules in like this one and then this one in every single possible reflection of XZ and keep going, and it will do the first one that works. But that's probably a long way off. Another thing I'm thinking is that at the moment I'm writing this a lot. I'm writing sort of one parameter in a function and that just returns a parameter. So I'm wondering if I can do something to improve the readability there, like just be able to write the parameter name once. I'm not sure if that would help or not, so that's why I haven't done it yet. It would make things a little bit easier to read, but also it might be a bit over confusing. I was also wondering if I could do some sort of symbol like that. I'm not sure. So I'll mess around with it a little bit and see if it comes up with anything good. I was also considering making just the normal reflections where you normally write them on the rule. I was considering making those a control structure too, because that might open up a few more possibilities. So hopefully I'll be able to get those things done in the future. You might be wondering, why on earth am I making all these things? And to be honest, I'm just mucking around a bit and trying to learn a few things as I go. I'm trying to learn about spatial programming and non-deterministic programming, like Dave Ackley is doing with the T2 Tile project. I'm trying to sort of explore that space a little bit. I feel like I understand some of the stuff he's made better just by sort of rolling my own version. And also, I hope I can make this sort of programming, where you program spatially, a lot more accessible. Because the idea is you can just play with this in your browser and tweak the JavaScript. You don't need to install anything on npm. or run a local server or anything. It just runs locally. I'm going to take a little break now for 1 month. I usually use February to reset my routines and things. So I should be back in March. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you later.